They wound up actually exceeding what they expected. They wound up producing more. They had a great harvest, and they, in the long run, paid off their investors sooner than they suspected. Now, that said, when times got tough, it wasn't just the free market that saved them. They did have this other group of people in the area that were natives. Can you imagine the scene? I wish I could have been a fly on the wall or something for this. And it's kind of a little bit of a joke, but I just wonder if this was a conversation. You got a couple of Indians on a edge of a cliff watching this boat come. One says to the other, look, there's illegal immigrants coming, and the other one says, oh, they won't be a problem. I just wonder. Maybe one of them said, well, we should have built a wall. But anyway, so you've got, but here's the thing. When it came to the Europeans coming to the New World, the Spanish came as military warriors. They came to take over, to conquer, to pillage, to take the gold, take the silver, and the native population didn't use, it's like the Incas, they didn't use gold and silver for money. They used it for ornamentation and for beautiful things. Their money was cacao beans. So yes, their money really did grow on trees. But the cacao bean, it was controlled, the crop was controlled by the government, and they used cacao beans as money, and it worked fine because they agreed on the value of it. But also, the funny thing about some of those native populations, they were, they sacrificed human beings, human sacrifice, so I'm not too upset about some of the things that happened. Maybe it's not a good civilization to keep going. But anyway, the ones that really caused the problem were the Spanish more than the English. The Spanish are the ones, you've heard of Cortez, right? That were slaughtering the native population, taking the women for themselves. And somehow that has been equated to being the English. The English, in the beginning, did not have a problem with the native population because, see, they weren't warriors. They weren't military. They were families and investors seeking a new life or a better life and religious freedom. They didn't want to fight with the Indians. They wanted to work with them. They needed their help. And they made treaties with the local populations, and the local population taught them how to become fishermen and hunters, because remember, these are just people from farmer type minds and gentry in the case of Jamestown. In other words, kind of like up there with the nobility. So they had small little fingers and fingernails that had no dirt under them. Those guys. Yeah. They didn't know how to farm the land. They didn't know how to go fishing. The Indians helped them. They taught them. They taught them about corn and how to create maize and things like that.